the copper stingray mod. Um, I did have a comment saying that there was no close-ups and they kind of wanted one and all that. Very, very good constructive criticism. Um, so I will go ahead and this is a kind of a part two of the review of the Copper Stingray. So let's go get down and dirty. Alright, so kind of a bird's eye view here of the uppy closey version. I put the tripod actually on my table here. The Stingray mechanical mod, I did get a viewer that wanted a up close version, a down and dirty of how this Stingray works. If you want to see kind of my overview on this and see how I could angle this, here we go. If you want to see my overview on this, check out my first video. This is a up close and personal. This is a request from a viewer. So let's go ahead and take her apart. What this comes with is a free flow. This is the clone, by the way, of the Stingray Copper mod. It comes with a free-floating 510 connector, which is kind of really free-floating. You can tell it's really loose here. If you can tell, I'm not sure if you can tell that, but if I do this, you can see the gap there. You can just tap it in. It just taps right back out by gravity. So that is the switch. It's pretty low profile. You have your kick tube here. The kick tube, just a brass little tube for your kick, and you have your mod. This mod does unscrew in the middle, right here. That way you could make it an 18350, 18500 with that kick tube on there, or an 18650 is kind of how I have it right now. It is a very seamless design, which is pretty good. On camera it seems pretty seamless, but as it patinas it gets less and less, or more and more seamless. When it is polished out, you could actually tell that there is a seam. So please don't let the camera fool you saying that it's totally seamless. Let me see if I can get this on camera. I am using a very expensive camera this time around, so you could definitely tell there is a seam there. Up here, see, as you could tell on this one, there's still a seam there. So it is a seamless design, but you can still see the seams. As it patinas, again, that seam will start to fade. I'm gonna go ahead and take this switch apart for you guys. So my issue is with that switch, okay? It is very crunchy. I did polish this out. I did get it working to the point where I can actually use it and not worry about it. Again, this is like the Nemesis locking ring, no difference. The tube is just a solid tube, all copper contacts and all that goodness. The switch, this is where I have the biggest issue with. This switch right here, how it comes apart, you can go ahead and take this top part out with my thumb, and this is a magnet down here. There's a magnet in there. So let's put this top part away. Now you could take this Duralin piece here, you could unscrew that as well, and now you have officially taken out the magneto part of the switch. Okay, let's go put that away. Now there's a little piece here that kind of goes up and down, exactly like a Nemesis. Only difference is there is no spring back here. Okay, so you can go ahead and take out this pin as well. Okay, this is from now on is exactly like a Nemesis. If you look in here, there is that tiny little pin. This is where my issue is. This wobbles here. See that wobble? And this is what's creating all that crunchiness. Horrible crunchiness. Also the gap between the side of the wall here and the threads, when you do end up screwing it in, that's a really tight fit right there. So what a save. Did you see that? Look at that. I saved that pin. What a save. So let's go ahead and drop that pin aside. So if you do screw that in there with the switch, the clearance for this is very, very shallow. As you can see right here, there's not much wiggle room here, and this could make it get stuck. Not sure if you can see the clearance on that. It's very, very shallow. Even if you go a little bit diagonally, that it just does that. I did polish the end of the ring out right here. I polished that out. I grinded the end of this, and I polished that out as well with my Dremel. Everything is pretty polished out. So that's the switch, and this is the biggest issue I have. It's probably with this right here. This diameter is not big enough for this to fit over and sit pretty. Like it's too loose, and all the crunch comes from here. I did polish this out. I've already polished the inner tube out. I polished the inside of this already. It doesn't make a difference. This switch is just very, very finicky, wobbly, as you say, crunchy, as others would say it. For a magnet switch, this was very disappointing, incredibly disappointing. So there is fixes for it. I've heard that somebody put aluminum foil around here, and it did tighten that up, and it made the switch a lot more usable. What I think is, if you just put a bigger pin in here, in that pin slot, if you put a bigger pin right in there, instead of this tiny little pin, if you were to put the bigger pin in there, it would work much better. Because it will take up a lot of that gap. That's just my opinion. I haven't found a pin that actually will fit in here better than this little guy. So I'm gonna pop that pin in. There you go, that pin is in. That pin is supposed to stop it from wobbling, but again, look, there's so much gap that it still wobbles. Let's go ahead and put this back together. Again, just put this little nut back on with the magnet on it. Make sure it's tight. Put your Durlin insulator in. And it's a very good idea. The switch, I mean, it's... Don't get me wrong, this is a clone, so... But I've heard that there's other clones out there that perform much better than this. Really, the only issue I have with this is that switch, which is usable. I mean, once you polish it out as much as I have, kind of grind out the edges, it does become very useful. But it's not something that I'm going to write home about. You know, it's not something that's so good. For example, let's go ahead and put a battery in here. But to date, this mod is an incredibly hard-hitting mod. Surprising as that is, let's go ahead and put a battery in there. Let's look for an atomizer that I could pop on here. Well, let's just put this one since it's sitting here anyways. Pop that on there. Okay, and then tighten the screw from the bottom, just like in Nemesis. And again, you will have it, but it's that very crunchy, so it will not fire all the time, so that it's not now it's firing, now it's firing, now it's not firing. See that? And then the only way to get this fire is to hold it like such and push both here, top and bottom, with the same amount of pressure, and it will start to fire. Now, just put enough juice in here so that I don't have to worry about burning out my wick. Let's give this a quick fade, because honestly I really love this mod. The only issue I have is with that switch. It's a bugger. Incredibly hard hitting mod. As far as my voltage drop is concerned, this thing, it's a 0.5 ohm coil, this thing freaking produces. But it's that switch that bothers me. It's not bad, it's usable. If you do push in both ends, it will work. But as of right now, it's a very awesome mod as far as voltage drop goes, but it's unusable. But this viewer, you know what, I have to actually give you a shout out, sir, because you not only give me very good constructive criticism, but So here you go. Arthur Huang. I know a Arthur Huang from high school. If that's you, then kudos. Thank you for the review. I might give you some suggestions about the future videos. I have 0 close-ups. This is my close-up now. Really great job on giving me a constructive criticism. I was not offended whatsoever by anything you said. You were very, very good at getting the information out to me of how I need to change things. Thank you so much, Arthur Huang. Now, what you said that, I believe you said, something about this might actually, a nemesis, let's see here. As far as button issues that blows, I have 2 nemesis, the same problems with both magnet upgrades. The nemesis switch actually is much better, Arthur. Really, this is freaking flawless. You see how smooth this is? Just to show you on video of how well this switch actually does work. So if you have 2 nemesis right now, those 2 nemesis right there could definitely see an improvement from what I did. Let's go ahead and do this real quick, just for the camera. Okay, let's just keep it at that. This switch is flawless. I can press it with my pinky. I can press it in any direction and it works great. Okay, so this nemesis switch is perfect. Delicious. And I can benefit from more juice here. Okay. So, what Arthur told me was this nemesis switch right here was interchangeable with the stingrays. Okay, don't quote me on this, but I read that the nemesis button fits on the stingray threads. The top threads, however, is not the same. True, I tried top threads, it's not the same, but amazingly, Arthur, you are a genius for even mentioning this. This makes the stingray freaking usable in every way possible. I will now be using the stingray with this switch. So again, the good thing about the free float is that you just have to screw it on and it'll free float. The whole point of free floating is... Okay. Nemesis switch on a stingray mod. It does screw in very smooth, buttery smooth, and my golly, it works. One of the best vapes I've had with the Nemesis. The locking ring, yes sir, it does work exactly the way it's supposed to. The Nemesis switch on the bottom does replace this one, which is damn near identical. Awesome, so this is very usable with that Nemesis switch on there, and it fires every single time. So sweet. So good. So it does work, it is confirmed. Not sure how long this video is getting, but okay, so that's the close-up of it. If you do have an extra Nemesis switch laying around and you have a Stingray with a crappy switch, definitely worth replacing. I am very, very happy with this. The Nemesis switch, Arthur, I do have magnets in here. I have 3 of them, 2 on the bottom, 1 on top. How I ended up fixing it was I ended up just taking this center nut apart, and I just polished the crap out of the inside, and like literally a crap ton of polish will make that switch freaking flawless, even in just one side. The great thing about Nemesis switches is that polish can fix up the switches quite a bit. Great advice. Thank you so much. So let's go back to top view. I'm back, guys. I am back. with this copper stingray with a Nemesis switch on there. And does that switch make a big difference in voltage drop? Let's go find out. I like to test my voltage drop around 1 ohms. This K-Fun is at 0.91 ohm, which is close enough to 1 for me to go ahead and snap on my voltmeter. Just like that. Go ahead and take apart the bottom switch, put a battery in there, put my Nemesis switch in there, and let's go ahead and give these two batteries, these two switches a compare. I'm pretty sure we'll get a pretty good comparison here. Going at 4.12. Okay, go ahead and pop up a K-Fun on here.
No.
Oh, no, I'm not a flour kind of guy. Give me roast beef, I'll smell that. So, K-Fun here with a 1 ohm coil. Not all the threads are not tight on here. So 3.91, 3.93, 3.91, 3.93. Let's take 3.93. Not bad. 3.93. Now let's go ahead and off of 4.08. 93.7. 0.15 voltage drop. Not bad at all. Not too shabby. Let's go ahead and put the Stingray switch in there and see if it did make a difference. I'm pretty sure I could clean up this Nemesis switch. I use my Nemesis a lot, guys, so... Okay, 4.1. Let's go ahead and pop that K-Fun on there again, and let's see if the switch does make a difference. No, it doesn't. It's about the same. 0.1, 0.1. About a 0.1 volt drop, okay? 0.1 to 0.1.5. So the Nemi switches work perfectly on the Stingray, guys. Freaking awesome. It sure beats out that crunchy spring, crunchy Nemi switch that does come with. Does it replace the Nemesis? I don't know. Really? Take it for a grain of salt. Does it? I love the Nemesis. It's like kind of my go-to mod. Always has been. Okay, so let's go ahead and pop that in there, pop the Nemesis switch in there, and kind of check the voltage drop on the Nemesis. What I've noticed is that I do get much better performance. Oh, did I see that? 3.3, well, let's say 3.74. I do get much better performance on the Stingray. As far as performance goes, voltage drop goes, it does kick like a mule as far as voltage drop is concerned. So let's do that. I'm just dropping shit everywhere. So if I were to use a Stingray, guys, I will use the Nemesis switch. Thank you, Arthur, for pointing that out to me. Awesome. I've been kind of stuck on my Panzer. I've just been stuck on my Panzer for the longest time. I like it. I don't know what to say. I just got my K-Fun repaired, and I figured out why I don't use the K-Fun anymore. But this Panzer, again, it performs not as good as the Stingray does as far as voltage drop goes, but the button on it, it's just fabulous. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope this helps, Arthur, and I will have these uppy-closey videos in the future on my future reviews. Thanks for pointing it out. I do have all the equipment for it. It's just I'm lazy. Thanks.